What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Grand Blue video, but today we're going to be looking at the patch notes. I'm over on Event Hubs and I haven't looked at these yet, so I'm pretty excited to see what they did with the characters. Alright, is my audio pretty good? Like, is that music too loud? It might be too loud. I know I'm pretty loud too, so that might balance it out. Because I'm a loud monster right now. I'll try turning it down a little more. Did I turn it down too much? Alright. We'll find out later. I'll find out in post. So, Gran. Hurt box. Minimize the hurt box around his arms and legs, putting him in line with other characters. This affects standing state, walking forward, walking back, turning around, stomping, jump, start up, backdash, no change to landing, standing guard, dodge roll, so everything. So they minimized his hurt box, huh? They shrunk it down. That's interesting. That's very interesting. That's actually a buff. Shrinking his hurt box. That's actually a pretty decent buff. Huh. That's cool, because I actually did feel like... I didn't realize his hurt box was bigger than most characters. His hurt box, I will say, after playing Gran, because I played a lot of Gran. After I got over Luane, I tried making up for it with Gran. And I did feel like his hurt box was was larger, but I didn't think it was enough to make it noteworthy, but I guess they thought they should change it. Power raise made the time to progress from no charge, level 1 charge, and level 1 charge to level 2 shorter. That's a very good buff. That's a high level, that's like a mid to high level Gran thing. Charging up your sword, knowing how to charge your sword up. Lower level Grans, they don't worry about that. They don't have to worry about that. But charging up the sword is very vital at high level. And making it shorter will probably make very good Grans even more beastly. It's kind of scary. His overdrive surge adjusted so that when he hits his opponents in the startup, the grounded hurt time is longer. This makes it so that he can no longer get punished on hit. Okay. Increase the hit stop on this move on counter hit, giving it more advantage. Okay, that's actually good. I'm actually really happy they did this. Because here's they're talking about boot kick, right? So boot kick, I think this is boot kick, right? Overdrive surge. So the thing with boot kick is, I could be wrong, this might not be boot kick, but when he would hit you with the medium boot, because they nerfed it really badly, because boot kick used to be plus on block, but now if you hit someone with the boot and they're not even blocking, right? If they actually got hit by it, they can mash on you. And you get punished. You get punished for landing the boot kick on them, which was really dumb. So it seems like they fixed that here. Narmaya. But they have to be careful, though, because if they give it more advantage, we're going to have old boot kick, where Gran is just boot kicking all over the place and, like, closing the gap at all times to shove you into the corner, and he's always plus. So that's not what we want. Narmaya. Startup is faster on her standing heavy free flutter. Okay. That's good. Transient, light, and medium versions. Added preemptive input window to moves that can be canceled from this. So that's quality of life thing. Canceling into, it's like stance cancels and mixed with her transient move. So that's good. Startup is now faster. No change to regular versions. Okay, so Narmaya just got quality of life stuff. Jita. The hitbox at the tip has been enlarged, making it easier to hit crouching opponents. Don't like that. Startup is now faster due to her rising to the air faster. There's been some small changes to distance traveled. Okay. Reigenlev. Wait, was overdrive surge the DP? Wait, did they actually change his DP and not the boot kick? I don't know. I might be an idiot. The hit stop on the third hit has been shortened due to lower recovery. The overall advantage has not been changed. Okay. Reigenlev. Vorpal Blade. The input window for follow-up attacks been lengthened, and you can now cancel them later. Startup is now faster. Okay, so it looks like Jita got some like small buffs. Belial. I'm gonna save Belial for last. Honestly. Cagliostro. Auto combo. The timing at which she moves forward has been slowed down. The distance traveled has not been changed. Okay, that's a little weird, but Airborne Mihen. Airborne Mihen will no longer come out with a down input in the air. making it easier for Cagliostro to correctly get airborne spare body when wanting to do so. Okay, so quality of life stuff. Everything's coming up Cagliostro. The close range hit window has been enlarged, putting it in line with what is standard for other characters' Super Skybound arts. And then they buffed her ult hitbox, pretty much. Okay, so Cagliostro got some quality of life stuff, which I felt like she needed. Now let's talk about Belial, the big meat. The big meat of this patch. Everyone's been waiting for Belial nerfs. I'm surprised they didn't really touch up on most of the cast. That's actually good. Grand Blue has been getting a lot of balance patches, and the game hasn't been out that long, right? They've had like 7 or 9 balance patches, and the game hasn't even been out for a year. The game's only been out for like 8 months, and they've already had that amount of balance patches. And for a fighting game, that's pretty bad. Whether they're needed or not, it's not good, right? So I'm happy to see that they didn't do an insane amount with this balance patch, because personally, I felt like they didn't have to. So quality of life. So most of the stuff they did in this balance patch was quality of life stuff, which is fine, right? But normally in all their balance patches, they've touched on a lot of characters. So let's get right into Belial. Auto combo. The timing at which he moves forward has been slowed down. The distance traveled has not been changed. Okay. Is far standing heavy. The hurt box behind him while moving has been enlarged. Good. The second hit has had its attack level lowered. Good. It's had its attack level lowered, so you can actually crush it now. Because here's how crushing works in Grand Blue, if you don't know, right? If you use a light attack and I use a heavy attack, and we normally at the same time, normally you would clash, right? But because I used a heavy and you used a light, my attack is a higher level than yours, so I crush you. And a crush kind of works the same. When you crush, you get a counter too. So you would get a counter hit combo off it. It's big damage and it's really rewarding. Belial's, one of his godlike buttons was his far standing heavy, his far 5 H. And what this move did was you would strike twice moving forward, and this button was really good. That's why when I saw Yuel's medium doing something similar, I thought hers would be godlike too. Hers isn't as good though. And if Belial used this move against you, you couldn't really do a lot. He actually wanted like the first hit to whiff and then hit you with the second hit, or if you pressed a button in the first hit, the first hit actually got you, he would get a full combo off it, like a full 3,000, 4,000 damage combo off of it, which was really not good. Anywhere on the screen, by the way. I should say that. Anywhere on the screen, because Belial has good mid-screen combos. Which is not the most common thing in Grand Blue without it being like an anti-air or a counter hit. So it's really good that they lowered the attack level, because that means you can crush it now on the second hit. So if he whiffs the first hit and the second hit's about to hit you, I assume they lowered it to a medium. So if you use your heavy attack, you should actually crush him, which is good. Everyone's a little crooked. So that's his projectile. The damage from easy input has been lowered from 650 to 350. Oh my god. Whoa. Wow, that's a lot. The damage from the technical version has been lowered from 750 to 450. Whoa. When used from EX Guesha, the projectile will now disappear when Belial takes damage or block. Everyone's a little crooked. Medium, light, and medium versions recovery has been increased. Oh my. Everyone's a little crooked. Heavy version startup is now slower. Block stun and grounded hit stun has been decreased. There has been no change to airborne hit stun. Wow. Those are some huge nerfs to his projectile game. And a lot of Belial's relied on his projectile game, right? Because Belial, at a high... okay, I should say this. Good Belial's use his projectile a lot. His projectiles are very good. I'll say on a lower level, you really didn't see it, because his projectiles were weird, right? Because you could change their trajectory. So a lot of Belial's at a lower level didn't bother using it. But at a mid and higher level, for sure. And they really stomped on it, dude. It does 300 less damage, no matter the version. and it now disappears when you take damage or block. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I was tired of Belial putting this damn spinning projectile above my head when I hit him. Thank goodness they disappear now. Recovery has been increased for all versions. Or is it just light and medium? Okay, no, it's just light and medium. Recovery has been increased, so you can punish him easier for using his projectile now, which is good. Startup is slower on his heavy version, so you can punish him or counter him easier. Block stun and grounded hit stun has been decreased, so it doesn't make him as plus anymore. It actually makes it more risky to use now. His EX Notoria, the height at which opponents are launched as well as their distance has been adjusted, making it so that the opponent lands further away from Belial. The overall wake up time has not been changed. Okay. The easy input has had its blowback distance increase even further than the regular version. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Because his EX DP was very good and it kept you he kept him really close to you, right? So the thing is, with a lot of EX DPs in Grand Blue, what it would do is it would launch you far away, right? So what's been good about the DPs, EX DPs in Grand Blue is that they're invincible reversals, okay? So let's say you're pressuring me and I have a true invincible EX DP. So you're pressuring me, I pop my invincible reversal, my DP, I hit you, and now you get launched back and everything returns to neutral, right? That's the idea. Belial's, on the other hand, his EX DP actually gave him the advantage because you would land so close to him and you're down, right? He would recover faster than you could get up, right? So now he is actually the aggressor. You see what I mean? Because you're pressuring him, right? So we'll do it like this. You're pressuring him and he DPs, right? So that puts you on the floor. And normally you would be like over here, right? So you would get up and then he would be like, if he's running at you, he'd be here. Things return to neutral. However, he would land so close to you, he's just the aggressor now, right? Like he could safe jump up and you're still getting up and like put you in frame traps and stuff like that. Really nasty stuff. I'm glad that it launches you back further. And then another adjustment they did, because easy input DPs are very good in this game because you can do it so fast. All you have to do is hold down forward and keep spamming on 2 buttons and you get the DP off, right? So very early on, this was a problem in Grand Blue because people would just use the easy input, which granted, if you're being pressured like that, use the easy input. It's just good. The negative thing is that it launches them even further. So if they're like a zone character like Matera or Fairy or something like that, or even Zeta, who can zone you with her projectile, now that's really bad because it returns to like a zoner's position to where they can keep zoning you out, right, and keep them out of your keep you out of range. Or in other cases where you're both like Shotos or Rushdown, or not even, I wouldn't even say Rushdown, but if you're a different kind of archetype, you would both just recover, right, and return to like even further apart, neutral. So it's good that they rounded off Belial to be equal to the other characters, I should say. So in general, I'm pretty happy with the patch notes. There are a couple things I'm surprised about, like the buffs to Gran and Jita. Narmaya getting some quality of life buffs, I'm completely okay with. Narmaya is a good character, despite people saying she's bottom tier. She's not. Narmaya is a good character, and I'm okay with her getting quality of life buffs. I don't think she actually needs any super strong buffs. Her startup on her close standing heavy is a fine buff. I'm okay with that. Quality of life stuff, good. I like that. Gran actually got some buffs that are kind of scary at a higher level. If you're in mid to low, you probably wouldn't have to worry about it. Jita also got some scary buffs. Honestly, I'm surprised how much they touched on Jita. I didn't think they would do that much. Kind of weird. Cagliostro, all quality of life stuff. I was completely expecting this. Cagliostro had a lot of stuff that felt very weird and strange on her. I actually expected them to do more to Cagliostro. To be completely honest, I expected them to do even more to make her feel better to play. Not like she doesn't feel good to play, it's just there's some stuff and mechanics that are a little weird. Now, Belial, the biggest surprise to me, I was expecting them to touch his projectile. To me, what caught me off guard is how much they shat on his projectile, and the fact that they didn't really touch anything else. I expected them to do something to... So a lot of Grand Blue players will probably agree with me. We probably were expecting them to do something to his 6D. His jump unique is godlike, right? He jumps over you, it's an anti-air, and it gives him plus, right? So a lot of people were probably expecting them to touch that. I'm actually honestly surprised they didn't. I'm really surprised they didn't touch that. So they're keeping that alive. The DP, I wasn't actually expecting them to touch his DP at all. I knew his DP was a problem, but I felt like there are other problems with Belial that they should have touched. I'm also disappointed they didn't actually do a lot to the light and medium versions of the DP, because if you don't know, the light and medium versions of Belial's DP are really good, and can actually be spammed out pretty reliably, if you're good enough as a Belial player. So I'm surprised they didn't touch those, but I'm actually surprised they touched the DP at all, because I didn't expect them to touch it. I'm happy they touched his Far 5H, obviously, his Far Standing Heavy. Very happy they touched that. I was completely expecting that, and I'm sure a lot of people were, because that move was kind of ridiculous. However, I personally don't think they touched it enough. Now, I did play Belial for a decent amount of time, right? And that move felt really good. And just playing against it, I feel like they could have done a little more. I'm happy they touched it at all, but I really feel like they could have done a little more. They say the attack level is lowered. I don't know if they lowered it to like a light attack level or a medium attack level. I'll have to test that out. But enlarging his hurt box behind him is cool and all, but they didn't really give the opponent enough tools to counteract that move. Like, that move is still gonna be really good. Like, Belial's can kind of just throw it out. Just because you can crush it because its attack level lowered doesn't mean you can always do that, you know? There's a lot of scenarios where that nerf doesn't really take a lot of effect, right? Like, if you jump over him or you spot dodge through him, yes, the hurt box behind him is good, obviously. And then the crush, I could just be done with this, because honestly, that move clashed with a lot of stuff. So now the fact that this won't clash with them anymore is really good. But I was expecting them to make it like maybe more minus, you know, add more recovery to it. That's honestly what I was expecting them to do, was just add more recovery on block. So if you actually block that move, you can punish him even harder, because that move is pretty safe to use. You can just kind of throw it out there, right? It's just a good button to press, and you don't get punished for pressing that button, right? Your punishment is that you're even, which is not a punishment, you know? So overall, I'm happy with the patch notes. I think they could have done a little more to Belial, but seeing how much they touched his projectile, I feel like the amount they did is fine. But personally, I would have liked if they laid a little off his projectile and put a little more work into the other problems that I think, personally, in my opinion, I think are much bigger problems with Belial. But I'm not over there at Arxis. I'm not over there running the show, doing balance patches, right? I'm very happy with UL. Obviously, UL coming out was awesome. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the state of the game right now. I honestly, Belial was in my opinion, the reason I think Belial was breaking the game was because of Belial's power level mixed with the delay. Honestly, if the delay was better, if the netcode was better in versus, I don't think Belial would be as much of a problem. My complaint with Belial is that the way he plays, his playstyle, and that did get nerfed because they touched his projectiles and his DP, but his playstyle is very safe. His buttons are really safe, right? There's not a lot of stuff you can punish with Belial, right? So you have to play pretty reactive and predictive, but you also have to take risks. When you're fighting Belial, you have to take risks, and you have to have good Belial tech. You have to have a lot of matchup knowledge, too. Matchup knowledge goes a long way when you're fighting Belial. Further than a lot of the other characters in the cast, I would say, right? I feel like matchup knowledge against Belial will be more useful than matchup knowledge against Gran, for instance. But I know I'm rambling, I know I'm ranting, but I feel like what is so good about Belial online, not talking about offline, because these are just fine for offline, is that he forces you to take risks in a game where the netcode is god awful. Like, completely honest, Grand Blue's netcode is terrible, right? If you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. And because of this, he has a lot of moves that become even safer and plus online. Because he has moves you can't punish because you have to be able to punish them like on the spot, on a dime, right? Several of his moves you have to punish on the dime, right? Unless you're just that predictive. Because with delay, your move is coming out like a quarter second, half second later on Grand Blue. It's kind of crazy. It's a little ridiculous, and the fact that you have to take risks is not good because he can just blow you up that much easier than if you were playing offline or with actual good netcode or rollback or something. That's the balance patch I want, the netcode balance patch, but that probably won't be coming.